and you're watching Dante's
Boxing Nation.
Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So this is some pretty interesting news. Showtime Steven Espinosa, he just came out and said there's a very good chance that we may get to see Jermall Charlo versus David Benavidez next. He didn't say in the future, he said next. But David Benavidez, he already has a fight scheduled in August. So unless Espinosa was basically telling us there's a chance that David won't fight his next opponent and instead he'll fight Jermall Charlo. Now, it's important to note, the only reason why David Benavidez's name was even brought up when it came to Jermall Charlo was because Chris Mannix, he asked Espinosa about the fight. You see, I've been telling you guys for the longest, if Jermall Charlo thought that these fans were about to treat him the same way they treated Canelo for fighting Yildirim, he's sadly mistaken. You guys heard me say on multiple videos, the difference from Jermall Charlo and everyone else on the hope list is Jermall, he's going to get that pressure from old media to fight the guys that he's supposed to fight. And that's what's already starting to take place. And you know what, since I'm talking about the hope list, let me go ahead and explain exactly what it is and what it means, since it's my term that I use. Because every once in a while, people in the comment section will get confused, automatically assuming the hope list must mean just white fighters. No, the hope list is any fighter that's not black, that these fans, these non-black fans, hope beats the black fighter or hopes that they avoid the black fighter. And the coincidental list is obviously fighters that coincidentally get treated the exact same way and coincidentally just happen to be the same color. You know, like when you hear stuff like, well, who has he fought? He doesn't deserve to fight so-and-so. We know whenever you hear that, they're always talking about a black fighter coincidentally, right? Now, and I can make a ton of examples, but I think you guys get the point. So let's get into exactly what Steve Espinosa said about this fight possibly coming to fruition. He said, I think it's very possible. You know, at 168, there's Benavidez, there's Plant, there's, Canelo being the wild card, and maybe Jermall Charlo. Throw into that group, I think Charlo Benavidez could have happened, but the timing was off. Jermall and Jermall haven't fought since September, and David Benavidez just fought in March. So Benavidez wasn't going to be ready as quickly as Jermall wanted, and Jermall didn't want to wait all the way until the fall, until when Benavidez was actually ready. So according to Showtime Steven Espinosa, Jermall Charlo actually wanted the fight earlier. He wanted the fight in like June or May. And we already knew that Benavidez, he wanted the fight in September. So this could tell us a couple of things. Either Jermall Charlo was stringing us along and he already knew that he was going to fight David Benavidez, which is what he did say on Brian Custer's interview. He said the fight is going to happen and how he's going to destroy him, how David has no defense and the fight won't go more than 6 rounds. He said all of these things, but he confused us when he said, why move up to 168, risk my health, etc., etc. I'd rather fight Andre first. He said all of these things. Speaking of that, that was something else that Steven Espinosa said in this interview. He said that he believes if Jermall Charlo cannot unify at 160, if he can't get the Andre fight or the Golovkin fight, he believes that Jermall Charlo will fight David Benavidez at 168. So either Jermall Charlo was really planning on fighting David Benavidez all along, or Showtime is just putting an enormous amount of pressure on him to take the Benavidez fight if once again he cannot get a unification fight at 160. Either way, it's really good to know that Showtime and PBC are really interested in the fight, because that alone applies more pressure. Going back to when I told you guys, maybe Jermall Charlo, he thought him fighting against a nobody, he would get the same credit that, or the same reception that Canelo Alvarez got for fighting Avni Yildirim, a guy who hadn't fought in 2 years and was coming off of a loss. I mean, maybe because Jermall Charlo is fighting someone better than Avni Yildirim, because the person is not coming off of a loss, Jermall didn't expect any backlash. But regardless if the opponent was better or worse than Avni Yildirim, the bottom line is we had already knew that he wasn't going to be fighting against a Demetrius Andrade because Demetrius Andrade, he just fought. We knew he wasn't going to be facing Gennady Golovkin because Golovkin wouldn't fight Jermall Charlo if someone put a gun to his head. Jaime Munguia, who is Jermall Charlo's #1 contender, he's damn near his mandatory. He didn't even want to fight for a title shot. He would rather go after Golovkin or Selecki Majes. So once again, this is why it's not a surprise that Jermall Charlo is fighting the type of opponent that he's fighting, because a lot of the good fights and good opponents either didn't want the fight or were unavailable at the time. Jermall Charlo really should be judged on who he fights next. If his next opponent is another Fernando Montiel, like a C or D level fighter, then he really deserves the backlash. Because with Demetrius Andrade available, there's no reason for him to fight someone like that. And from what Espinosa said, maybe there's a possibility that they can bypass, or David Benavidez can bypass his next opponent, which is supposed to be Jose Uzcategui, and he can still end up fighting Jermall Charlo in August. So let's see what happens. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So to get this hookup, make sure you follow and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram.
An important message from Youth Fountain Laboratory, makers of VasoFlux and VasoFlux for Men. If you're over the age of 35 and over the years you've eaten pizza, dairy foods, deli meats, or meats with fat, you are likely to have some degree of plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. This increases your risk of suffering a stroke or heart attack exponentially, and no one wants such a catastrophic event to occur. Introducing Blackout. Blackout is made of all natural ingredients proven to help dissolve clots in the blood, remove calcium deposits and plaque from the walls of veins and arteries, improve viscosity of the blood, improve elasticity of the veins and arteries, treat varicose veins, and prevent the reoccurrence of plaque buildup. For more information, visit Youth Fountain Laboratory at youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856. And remember, to help unclog veins and arteries, get the plaque out.